fiscal responsibility. I had the privilege to work with the late Republican Senator Warren Rudman on that issue and on another issue that he and that I also came to care a lot about, which is the money in politics, the money funding campaigns, and you're aware of this. I know you've got to run a big campaign here, and you're doing a good job from what I can tell. I guess my concern, Governor, is that if we're going to get a grip on this crazy spending in Washington, at the same time that you got government contractors funding political campaigns and lobbying like crazy for more spending, sometimes getting, defense systems that the Pentagon doesn't ask for, or, big labor unions getting more spending that doesn't make sense. How can we get a grip on this runaway debt when there's so much money in politics? And
let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Did the money in politics affect Warren Rudman?
When he ran, I can tell you in the 80s, I was pretty young then, but I was interested in politics. There was a whole lot less money in politics.
Right, but relatively speaking.
And I know that...
Because I knew Warren, and Warren could care less who gave him money.
Yeah.
As I said yesterday at this town hall, I don't give a rip about who gives me anything.
I do know that he...
But what would you propose we do?
What for late Senator Rudman proposed was a system that puts small donors in charge by providing either a tax rebate or a voucher so that small donors could fund the campaigns. Anybody in this room who supports a candidate could direct their money, $50 of their tax money, to that candidate, and in exchange the candidates would say no to the big money. So even if an independent person like you gets elected president, you've still got all of Congress taking money from the contractors and the lobbyists, and it's awfully hard to see them.
Well, it's interesting. Here's the thing with me. First of all, it is not always easy for me to raise money, because here's the thing, and every politician will say it. Charisma is the ability to get people to believe what you say. People have all kinds of definition of it. So this will test the charisma factor in me. I was in Cleveland. A guy raised me $1 million. And he got up, and all the people were at the dinner, and he said, "I've got good news and bad news. We raised a lot of money for John tonight. The bad news is no one in here will get one single thing for it." And see, the way I look at it is when people give me money, I'm talking about me, I'm saying anybody else, it doesn't matter to me. They have no influence on me for this reason. If all of a sudden they had influence, then I couldn't balance the budget, because I would have ceded the moral high ground, because I'm taking care of somebody and I couldn't get it done. Believe me, when I left Washington, everybody down there, a lot of people down there really didn't like me. Okay? Now that I go down there, they like me because I accomplished something when I was there, which not many people down there are accomplishing anything. So anyway, the point is that I'm open to any kind of a campaign finance change. I just don't want to go for one that we put in and then we say, well, why did we do that? Because every time we turn around, we got a goofier system than we had before. That's an interesting idea. I loved Warren, by the way. He and I worked together on a bunch of stuff, and he always encouraged me, and he was really a great guy. So bring your plan to us, okay? I will tell you, in the first 100 to 120 days, campaign finance reform is not going to be a priority. The priority for me is independent energy for North America, being able to push through this balanced budget, being able to get the tax reform, particularly the corporate tax reform. I mean, those are the things. Immigration, we got to make sure that we control the border, but yet we get this thing behind us with the guest worker program. I mean, these are the things we're going to have to do in the first 100 and 120 days. But I'm interested in that plan. I will tell you, though, you work down there, and you're obviously a pretty smart guy. It gets to be a matter of how you view your job. And you can't legislate character, right? I mean, and so we can monkey around with all these systems, but at the end of the day, it's leadership to get people to perform at a higher level than what they would normally do. And to see that they're there to advance our country, or advance the state, or advance our communities, or advance our schools. And you know what the problem is? The problem is people get in those jobs sometimes and they either want to be popular with somebody, or they salute their own political party, which is, to me, not what you should do. And finally, they lose sight of why they're there. So good leaders convince people to perform at a higher level. And that's kind of what I've done most of my lifetime. So we'd be interested in looking at that plan, though, okay?
Thank you, Governor.